Hi there and welcome to this training video. My name is Anne-Marie Easters. I'm the Chief Operations Officer of Legal Suite Software, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a management principle called management by exception. We're going to be looking at how you can use Legal Suite to manage a large number of matters simultaneously. The topics that will be covered in this video include the following. First of all, we're going to look at what is management by exception. And then we're going to look at how you can use Legal Suite to manage a large number of files. And that's done in three ways. We're going to look first of all at reminders, secondly alerts, and lastly we're going to be looking at something called an inactive matters report. Now I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this picture on the right hand side of your screen at the bottom. Come into the office in the morning, you're faced with a whole bunch of files and you're not sure which file needs your attention and when. Now, let's have a look first of all at what is management by exception. It's basically a management principle designed to help you handle a large number of matters simultaneously. And that is done by only showing you the matters that need your attention today. Now, management by exception in Legal Suite we do by making use of reminders, alerts, and an inactive matters report to assist you with handling your matters. And we're going to be discussing each one of these in turn. Let's have a look first of all at reminders. What are reminders? Reminders will basically show you the matters in Legal Suite that need attending. In other words, they need your attention today. Now, reminders can be a very powerful tool to manage a large volume of matters and form the core of the management by exception principle on which Legal Suite is based. A reminder is basically a message that reminds an employee to check on a matter or do a particular task sometime in the future. And we have found that the clients that live about by their reminders are the clients that get the most benefit out of the program. Now, the majority of your reminders will be created automatically for you as you work in Legal Suite. And the beauty of this system is that once you've worked on a file, you can forget about it because the system will remind you when the next step needs to be attended to. Now, in Legal Suite, you can automatically build up your daily reminders, or what we call a to-do list, ensuring you that you are aware of the files that need your attention. Let's have a look now at reminders in Legal Suite. Now, reminders originate from different places in Legal Suite. Firstly, you can insert a manual reminder. And secondly, Legal Suite also have a variety of automatic reminders. And there's two different ones. First of all, plans of action reminders, and secondly, reminders that originate from the document assembly process. Let's have a look at Legal Suite and see what I'm talking about. First of all, we're going to be looking at manual reminders. Now, what we've got up on the screen now is your Legal Suite desktop, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with. Now, to insert a new reminder, you will first of all go to the Reminders tab for the matter. I'm on BRA 10005, and it's a matter that I wish to insert a new reminder for. You go to the Reminders tab, click on the Insert button that's circled on the top right-hand corner, and the Adding Reminder screen will come up. Now, the reminder is basically just made up of three things. First of all, the date, in other words, when do you want to do it? Secondly, the description, in other words, what needs to be done? And lastly, the employee, in other words, who needs to do the task. So I'm going to fill in there my target date for the 31st of August. I need to check for payment from the debtor, and it's going to be done by me, Anne-Marie Easters. So you fill that all in, you click on OK, and the program is quite clever. You'll see the date that I've selected actually falls on a weekend. So it will then also ask you, do you want to assign it to the next available working day? Likewise, if the date that you entered is a public holiday, it will also ask you if you want to do the next available working day. If you click on yes, you'll see it will add the reminder for you, and it's changed the date to the 2nd of September, which is a Monday, not a weekend. So what will happen is when you log into Legal Suite on the 2nd of September and check your reminders for the day, there'll be one on the 2nd of September, check payment from debtor for this matter. Right, now automatic reminders. Legal Suite has the ability, like I said, to insert automatic reminders for you. And 99% of your reminders are normally automatic reminders generated by the program. And they are generated from two different sources, like I said earlier. First of all, plans of action, and secondly, by the document assembly process. Let's have a look first of all at plans of action. A plan of action is simply a predefined list of reminders that are inserted after matter take-on. These reminders are more suitable for matters that have a rigid and predictable series of steps like conveyancing. And some areas of law, such as debt collection, are less predictable, and in these cases, it's better to use document-based reminders. Now, for plans of action reminders, we're normally looking at a bonds matter or a transfer matter where there's a variety of steps that are going to take place, and they're going to be taking place in a certain order. So it's a predictable set of events, so it's easy to create your reminders at the start of the matter where you take it on. Let's have a look now in Legal Suite at plan of action reminders. Now, they are found under the setup menu. If you go to File Management and from there you select Plans of Action, you'll see on that screen on the left-hand side it shows you your different sets of plans of action. And on the right-hand side, it shows you the reminders that belong to each set of plans of action. For example, I've highlighted their bonds. And on the right-hand side, you can see the different, there's 22 reminders that are added to that set of plans of actions. So every time you insert a new bonds matter and you select plans of action bond, it's going to automatically add those reminders for you. Like acknowledgement, receipt of instruction, advice, mortgage or receipt of instruction, request deed and discharge figures, etc., etc. And it shows you there under the quantity column after how many days of the date instructed you want this reminder to appear. Let's have a look how that works. If I go back to my desktop and I click on Insert, the Inserting a Matter screen will appear. I'm adding a new matter for ABSA, so I've put in my ABSA Bank bonds, ABS1 code, I've put in my description, it's given my file reference, and importantly under Plan of Action on the right-hand side, I've selected bonds. I click on OK, and you'll see now it's added my new matter, ABS10377, and if I click on my Reminders tab, there it's already added all my reminders for me and the date that it's predicting that it should be done. So as you log into the program on those set dates, it will ask you or tell you what your next step is on this matter and when it needs your attention and why it needs your attention. So those are those are plan of action reminders. Now, like I said, for something that's less predictable, so it's not like a conveyancing matter, we will use document-based reminders. And they are found under Setup Documents. If you go and look at your different document sets, on the left-hand side, for example, I've highlighted the Magistrates Court document set. And on the right-hand side, I'm standing on the ordinary summons. Now, if I double-click on that entry, the ordinary summons, you'll see it's reminding you in the cloud that document-based reminders are associated with a particular document, and it will be inserted whenever this document is assembled. So if you double-click on the ordinary summons, you'll see there's a Reminders tab. If we go to that, it shows you there, has summons been served, and it's going to be added 14 days after the date of the document assembly. So that reminder is linked to that document. So every time that document is assembled, it's going to insert that reminder 14 days after the date of assembly, and the reminder is going to be, has the summons been served? So let's show you how that works. If you go back to your desktop, click on Assemble Documents, the little puzzle doc icon. Go to the ordinary summons, click on Assemble. It will assemble your summons for you. And now if I go back to that matter, click on Reminders, it's created that reminder for me. Has summons been served? So on the 2nd of September, it's going to remind you to check that the summons has been served. And that's done automatically when that document is assembled. Right, so that's as far as the reminders go. And like I said in the beginning, reminders will show you the matters that definitely need your attention today. In other words, something has happened and you need to look at that file again on the said date. Now, alerts. Let's have a look at alerts, the second step in the management by exception principle in Legal Suite. Alerts will basically show you the matters that might need attending to. Now, Legal Suite can be set up to show you a list of matters in Legal Suite that might need your attention whenever you log into the program. And what happens is the program searches all your matters for certain criteria to determine if a matter needs your attention or not. Let's have a look at what I'm talking about and where you can set it up. Go back into Legal Suite, into your desktop. The alerts are found under the little bell there. That's your alerts button, and it will show you all your alerts for your employee. There it says at the top of the screen, alerts for unregistered. Now you've got 9 live matters, you have 3 archive matters, you have 6 matters with no file notes. Now those can be set up and you can select only the alerts that apply to you or that would be of interest to you. So let's have a look. We click on the Setup button and you'll see there's different tabs: General, Debt Collection, Litigation, Conveyancing. You can run through all of them. I'll run through them with you now and we can see what alerts are available. First of all, there's one called Show Me How Many Live Matters I Have. So if you want to be reminded every time you log into the program how many live matters you currently have, matters that you are working on, you can tick that alert. Secondly, you can say, show me how many archive matters I have. If that's of interest to you, you can tick that. This is quite an important one. If you're using Legal Suite properly, file notes will be generated all the time on your matters. So you can ask to see the matters that have had no file notes for the last 6 weeks or 1 month or 3 weeks. You can change the date or the time. So those are files that nothing's happening on. So you might want to find out why nothing's happening on those matters. You can ask to see today's reminders, quite a useful one. So every time you log into Legal Suite, it will automatically show you your reminders for today. Very importantly, you can ask to see matters that are with overdue reminders. So in other words, if you've got reminders that you've missed, you haven't marked them as done, you can ask Legal Suite to remind you of those matters. You can ask to see your total number of fees written this month. You can ask to see the total number of billable hours recorded. You could ask to see matters with a fee estimate less than the amount of fees you've written. In other words, if you've written more fees than what you estimated, you can be asked to be alerted of those matters. And lastly, on the General tab, you can say, show me my matters which are in arrears for 60 days or 90 days. You can change that. So you can run through those alerts, tick the ones that are of interest of you, and every time you log into the program, you'll get those figures pushed onto your screen. The next tab, under Debt Collections, you can say, please show me how much I've collected this month. So if you do collections, you can see the total that you've collected so far in the month from debtors. You can also ask Legal Suite to show you all matters with overdue debtor promises to pay. In other words, if a debtor's made a promise to pay in the month and he hasn't paid, you can have those files brought to your attention. Then under the Litigation tab, you can say, ask the program to show you the matters with a due court date in 3 weeks. So you might know, okay, this matter's coming up and you need to give it some attention. Obviously, importantly, at this stage, I must just tell you that all this information needs to be fed into Legal Suite. So if the court date is not recorded on the matter or the fee estimate is not recorded on the matter, then the alerts obviously won't work. So that's garbage in, garbage out. So make sure that if you're using these alerts, that you are, in fact, completing the fields in Legal Suite as well. Then on the Conveyancing tab, you can ask to see all matters due to be registered in a certain time period. You can say, show me all unsigned matters that are due to be registered, or matters which have not been registered for 1 week or 6 weeks. So if the registration date has come and gone, but the matter is not registered, you can ask Legal Suite to bring that matter to your attention. On the electronic instruction side, you can ask to see any unread or unsent messages via Law, Web Conveyor, or FMB. Then under the Financial tab, for the bookkeepers out there, if they want to use any of these settings, you can ask to see all matters that are in arrears. You can ask to see funds available to transfer from trust to business, matters that are in credit, matters that are in debit, fees generated this period, fees paid this period, or the disbursements generated this period. So go through and you can select the ones that are of interest to you. Under the CRM, which is the Client Relationship module, you can ask Legal Suite to show you clients who will be having a birthday in the next week or in the next month. So if you want to send them an SMS or an email or a gift, those clients you'll be alerted of those clients who's got birthdays coming up. And that obviously goes according to the date of birth of the client in the address book. And then lastly, under miscellaneous, quite an important one, show matters that are prescribing. So in other words, if you complete the prescription date of a matter, if it's a road accident fund matter, for example, that's got a prescription date, and that prescription date is recorded in Legal Suite, you can ask Legal Suite to alert you if you have any matters that are about to prescribe. Likewise, if you've got matters, if you use our trademarks module and you've got matters with registrations up for renewal, you can ask to be alerted of that, and you can also ask Legal Suite to show you any new SMS messages that have come in. Right, so for example, in practice then, if you log into Legal Suite, this screen will appear, alerts for unregistered, so your own alerts will appear. And then if you want to action any of those alerts, like for example, I'm standing here on alert that says show, I've got 8 matters with no file notes for at least 6 weeks. If I click on the view button, it will show me those matters, so I can drill down of how it's made up. And you can then say, tag these matters in Legal Suite, and it will take you back to your desktop, and those 8 matters will be tagged and filtered. So you can print them out, you can work on them, check why nothing's happened, and on any of those alerts, you can stand on them, say, tag these matters, go into Legal Suite and attend to the matters, and sort it out from there. There it shows you your 8 matters that need attention. Now, another question that comes up is, it's all good and well to see your own alerts, but what if you have a secretary that works underneath you, or you've got a work group of people or a team that you're leading? You would like to see their alerts as well, or you want to know if they've got reminders that they're not attending to, or they've got matters where there's no file notes. So what you can do in Legal Suite is under your employee, if you go to set up employees and you double click on your own name, on the left-hand side, there's a tab called Work Group. And if you tick on that, you can add people to your work group. So I've gone and I've added Bianca Cruikshank to my work group. And then what happens is you click on OK. And the next time you view your alerts, instead of your alerts just being for yourself, it will be for yourself and your work group. So now it shows me your work group has so many reminders overdue by 1 week or more. So it's now not going to just alert you of your own matters, but also those people in your work group. Right, lastly, the last leg of management by exception in Legal Suite is an inactive matters report. So we use reminders to show us matters that might need our attention, alerts to show us the matters that might need our attention, and then last of all, we look at the inactive matters report on a monthly basis, for example, to show us matters that we might have forgotten about. In other words, the inactive matters report acts as a safety net for the reminders and the alerts. Now, this report will identify all matters that have had no activity for a certain number of days, and you can indicate which area of the program you wish to search for no activity. Let's have a look at Legal Suite again. That report is found under the Reports tab from your desktop, and you go to Inactive Matters, which is the third one on the list of the general category. Click on Print, and you'll see it's going to ask you, a matter will be considered inactive if there's been no activity for the period selected above. Look for activity in the following areas. Now, I've said 60 days, show me matters with no file notes, no reminders. And like I said, if you and your work group are using Legal Suite properly, there should be file notes and reminders on your matters all the time, because it's indicative of something happening on the file. So if you're looking for matters where there's nothing happened on the last 60 days, it's a good indication of files that you might have forgotten about or that might have fallen through the cracks. So if you click on OK, it will generate the report, and it shows you nicely, these are your inactive matters. The matter gives you a file reference. It shows you what the last activity was and how many days ago. So you can then go and draw on those files in Legal Suite and see what's happening, why is there nothing going on these matters. Now, the benefits of managing by exception is that it allows you to deal with high volumes of files because you are only managing the exception. So the rest of the matters you can forget about. You can rest assured that Legal Suite will bring to your attention the matters that need your attention. Also can lead to a reduction in staff requirements. For example, we've got quite a few conveyancing firms where they now employ a senior conveyancing person to manage junior data capture clerks, and the senior person just manages the exceptions because Legal Suite alerts them if there's matters that are falling through the cracks. Right, to sum up, we've looked at what management by exception is, looked at how you can use Legal Suite to manage by exception, and that's done by using reminders that will show you the matters that need your attention, by using alerts that's showing you the matters that might need your attention, and lastly, we run the inactive matters report regularly to show us the matters that you might have forgotten about. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any queries, please do not hesitate to email me. My email address is up on the screen. Thank you so much for watching.